Join us as we travel to the North Pole aboard the Polar Express on the Churnet Valley Railway. This is the 20th year that the Churnet Valley have been running the Polar Express. And my God, this is not our first time, but it was a real special vibe and atmosphere because this time we got on the very last train of the whole year. Now, the conductor did say at the end, this is the last train ever. Now, I don't know if that was a fraudulent slip, if he just meant the last train of this year, but we got on the 8 p.m. service on December the 23rd, which was the last one that they did of this whole year's run. It was special. It was a packed out train. The atmosphere was absolutely banging. The poor staff, you could tell that they'd been at this for weeks, and I think fatigue was setting in, but it didn't matter because they gave it absolutely everything. And there was just no let up in the level of the effort that they gave. So first up, you go into the car park, you park your car, and then you go into like a little tent reception area, you give over your details, and they give you your golden tickets. You've got to keep these with you on the train, and the conductor will obviously stamp them for you, just like in the film. You then go into like a little tent area, and on your ticket it tells you which carriage you're going to be in. Each carriage is named after one of the reindeers. We were sat in carriage Comet this year. As you go onto the platform, there are flags where each carriage is going to stop, so you know exactly where you need to stand. Now, it was raining when we were stood on the platform. Normally, a couple of days before Christmas, that would dampen the spirits a little bit, but it actually wasn't overly cold, and the rain was that fine rain that did wet you through, but it wasn't overly bad. Once you stood there and everybody's ready, a light show begins. It lasts for about 5 minutes and it tells you a little bit of the story of the Polar Express, and it builds the story. The lights flash, and then as the train triggers a certain point in the track, it then plays music as the train pulls in, and it's all perfectly timed. I assume triggers are on the track, which is how they time it perfectly, because this is not the first time we've done it, and every time we've done it, it's always been impeccably well timed. So either we've got the Germans running our railways now to precision timing, or there's a little trigger on the track which then plays the right track at the right time. Because what happens is the train pulls in, probably shouldn't tell you this, but the train pulls in, everyone gets off, they clean it, and they pull the train back out of the station just around the corner where you can't see it, then get everyone onto the platform, and then they pull the train back in. The train's empty and away you go. And that's how they do it, so that you haven't got two lots of people on the station at once. Might have broke the immersion for some people there. Sorry. Grinch, bar humbug. So, the light show that you get on the station is incredible. And especially when it times with the train arriving, the magic, you can feel the magic from the kids. Now, I'm nearly 50 years old. The magic of Christmas left me a long time ago. But I can feel it through my kids, just how excited and magical this made them feel. And it made me feel like a kid again, I've got to be honest. It was brilliant. So then you board your carriage, and they give you a bit of safety instructions, basically. Sit down, shut up and enjoy. Away you go. They play the Polar Express initially, and then they play hot chocolate, and they bring you some hot chocolate, which is brilliant. And a cookie as well, which is even nicer. As you go forward, I think the journey's about, I could probably work it out, but I think the journey's about 5 or 6 miles. It's not anything massive. As you go forward, they play different songs, they read the storybook. Then you get the hobo that comes onto the train. So in the Polar Express, you've got the hobo on the roof. He says he's the owner of the train. Do you really believe? Can you hear the bells? And as you edge closer to the actual station, I think it's Leek is the station that they use for the actual Santa props. So as you edge closer to that, they're playing more Christmas songs, and then all of a sudden on the left hand side of the train, so if you can book, I don't think you can book your own tickets, but if you want to request a seat on the left hand side of the train, you will actually get to see easier the grotto, the sleigh and the North Pole setting. Just before you get there, you do go through a tunnel. That tunnel's got lots of different coloured lights. The lights on the train are also synchronised with that, so it just gives it the effect and the illusion of the North Pole. That's where you're arriving at. And the music plays something very similar to give that illusion and feeling that you're arriving in the North Pole. Once you arrive, you then go past the station a little bit. This is so that the train has got time to turn the points. In reality, it acts like in the show whereby they go past the station, the conductor says, oh, we've got to stop the train, get everyone to start shouting, and then say send it back, and then the train comes back. And then at that point, obviously, we all have to start chanting for Santa, and then Santa will appear in each and every carriage up and down the train, with, of course, Mrs. Claus in tow as well. Santa will then give everybody on the train the first gift of Christmas, which is a Christmas bell. As you can see, it's really nice. And in fact, let me find mine, 1 second. So here is my first gift of Christmas from Santa. Now I do have several of those from throughout the years. You're going to hear it rattling non-stop now. I do have several of those from throughout the years. It does get more and more magical every time, even as I get older and older, because the kids just love it. Santa will then go around to every single table, and he'll sit at your table if you want him to. Mrs. Claus will take a picture of you and your family. Anybody, you know, within your group that wants to be included, they'll try their very best to get everybody included. They'll use your phone, so make sure your battery's charged, because I did notice my battery went down to about 30% by the time I got off the train. I didn't intend to record everything, but because it was the very last one of this year and I'd heard rumours about things, I thought, let's just grab it for prosperity's reasons. And that's why I'm doing this sort of vlog style voiceover as well. So then you just head back, and as you're heading back, they play songs. Once Santa's seen everybody, obviously we get the prompt to wave Santa off and say goodbye to him. He says Merry Christmas to everybody, and Santa then goes. And then it's just a nice leisurely ride back down the Churnet Valley Railway to the start station of Frogall. It's a lovely, I mean, it's a really nice heritage railway, to be fair. It's all run by volunteers. I did meet with them in April, and we discussed the idea of doing some FPV drone work for them, and I've met with them a few times since. There's a few legal things that we just need to get over. Hopefully 2025 will be the year that we actually get that work done for them, because the ideas that we've all got between us are outstanding. They really are. We just need to make sure that we can sort of get them done this year, because we did try last year, or this year, but you know what I mean. We did try in 2024. We met several times, but yeah. So it takes less time to get there. It takes less time to get back. Sorry, because you've got less things to do. It's just a leisurely ride back. Everyone's had their drinks. They've had the cookies. They've got the bells. They're chilling out. They're listening to music, and before you know it, you arrive back at Frogall station. It does get a little bit manic here. So obviously you have the celebrations. The conductor said, thanks for riding the very last Polar Express. I do think that was probably a fraudulent slip, but let's just see how it goes next year. I have signed up to the notifications to see if they are going to do it. Hopefully they will, because it is brilliant. So then you get off the train, and the station is quite packed because it's just a free-for-all. So just take your time, don't rush it, and you'll get out eventually. The problem is here now, they funnel you into a gift shop. Now, every attraction in the world has an exit gift shop, I know, but it's a bit of a nightmare because I missed it last night. If you don't instantly turn right, you've got to walk all the way around the pay queue where everyone's queuing up to pay. And I didn't see that you could just turn right. So it is a bit of a nightmare. It does need to be signposted a bit better. Personally, I would prefer that they didn't funnel everybody through a shop, but that's just the way of the world, isn't it? You see the Santa mailbags as you go out, and then outside you've got there's like a little train carriage that you can take pictures at. There's food stalls. Because we was the last train, I didn't get any videos of that because they was all closed by the time we got back. But there's sweets, there's fast food, there's coffee, and there's probably other things that I missed. Toilets are there as well. That's the other thing. There are toilets on the trains, but there's not a lot of them. So my advice to you would be, especially if you're somebody that needs a toilet quite often, is to go just before your train departs. So you'll get a time of when your train's going to depart. I'd go at that time because it arrives on the platform a few minutes afterwards. So go as close to that time as you possibly can, because it can be really hard work to actually find a toilet on the train. And obviously the other issue is you've got characters running up and down the aisles, singing, dancing with hot chocolate, you know, and it's all Santa's there and Mrs. Claus is there. it can be a hard work. So my advice is, if you need the toilet a lot, just try and utilize the toilets before you go. Once you get back, you can then obviously utilize the toilets again. And then it's just either, if you're in the disabled car park, you just need to walk to your left. And if you're in the normal car park, you've got about a 5-minute walk to the right over the bridge where you can see the train sat in the station. It's all lit up. They've got generators and lights, so it's nice and easy, nice and safe. And then it's just drive home. The roads to get there are quite narrow, quite dark country roads. So just take your time. I'm sure you can all drive by now, so I won't tell you how to drive. But overall, I have to rate this as one of the best Christmas experiences that I've ever done. Quite often, parents will take the kids to a few Santa's grottos and will probably pay the same that they're paying on an experience like this by the time you've taken your kid to a couple of grottos. My advice is book this, because this is the best of the best, and just save yourself to go on this. Now, the only issue with this that I will say is, to book it, I think the tickets come out in April. So you have to have money and you have to be in the Christmas mood in April. So that is the only slight downer of it. Like I say, the problem is the tickets do then sell out within a few weeks, if not days. So just bear that in mind. But my advice to you is book it, go on it, enjoy it, have the most magical time of your life. It really is worth doing. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. And I'll see you on the next video.